Okay, 31 is where we're at. We're gonna go 32. 3240. Okay. Next we have 48. I'm just watching the step gauge, and once it gets to the right spot, stop cutting, which is right about there. Okay, that's looking better. About 56. Okay. That was 56. Okay, let's keep going. 64. Okay. 72. I'm really just trying to get these all cut to the same depth and get a nice culip point. Let's try the secondary can. There we go. Oops. Yeah, you can kind of see that there. Okay. Let's go to 80. I think we're on 72, so maybe. Let's go. Oh, it looks like we did 80. 88. 8. Okay, we're at 8, so let's touch really quick. Okay. 16. Yeah, we definitely need this. 16, 24. So we do need that actually looks good. Okay, so let's see if I can get that shot again real quick. Okay. Oops. So if we pull this down here, now we have all 12 of our facets meeting right in the middle. You can see that line there, that's the feather inclusion right there. And you can see the color zoning pretty well here actually. So I'm just gonna look yeah, let's just start with 96 maybe. Okay. Move this way a little bit and move this back, and we'll go to our girdle cutting position again. Yeah, we switch back to the actual normal view. Okay. So now you can see cutting the girdle. I just open up this very small amount. We should be able to do something like this. Give ourselves a little bit of room. Oops. Okay. This thing is so light, I really just gotta get myself a little visual aid here. Light stones like this really are hard to see progress on. Okay, so now let me just double check. Okay, cool. Yeah, this thing's gonna end up being smaller than I was hoping, but I think it'll still be a really nice color. Okay, that looks like it's done, so let's go to 8. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Curious if we can still see this. Sort of. There we go. Yeah, you can kind of see that. Cool. Alright, let's go back here. Let's go back to 96. Very close. Let's see here. Wow. Sorry, I gotta do this real quick. 96. better. Sweet. Okay. So we're at 96 and 96 is looking good. Okay, so we went 96.8 and next is 16. Hopefully we can wrap this stuff up. Okay, 16 actually looks fine. Maybe just a touch. Yeah. Okay. So 16 looks good. 24. Okay. 24 looks good. 32. Okay, 32 has to come in quite a bit. And that's still got a little bit more to go. Yep, that did it right there. Okay, 32, 40, I think. Go by 8s, so 32 plus 8 is 40, right? Oh, okay. This one has to come in a lot. Quite a bit, quite a bit. Okay, I think that looks... yeah, maybe just a touch. Okay. Hopefully the machine's not too loud on the microphone. Maybe I need a touch more. Okay, yeah, let's move on. So then we're at 48. There we go, looking good. Let's do that down a little bit. Okay, 48, 56, 55, 56, oops. Okay. I'm cutting a Montana Sapphire, as the title suggests, in a design I created the other day. Sure. Yeah, I think I have this working here. When I'm cutting the girdle, it's not quite as nice, but it's also like mirrored. So yeah. As you can see here, let's get it in focus. We're just finishing up the girdle to make it nice and round. I had to recut the first level, but overall it's looking good. Looking blue. Okay. So I think we might actually be done with the girdle if everything is looking level. Just this one, what's that? 64, is that right? Yeah, 64 looks like I could just use a touch. Yeah, no problem. just like half of a, it's like the smallest amount that needs to come off. Okay, there we go. All right. Hooray. So, I'll try cutting in one of these P2s, but these might just cut in on the next grit stage on the lap, but I'll try one. If they cut too fast, then I'll just move on to the next grit. So let's move this back here, move this back up. And the next angle is forming the culate point at 40 degrees on the dot. 40. Yeah, that's right there. So go up a little higher. Move this guy in. Move this up a little bit. Okay. And our first index, yeah, this is like a mirror 4, which is kind of interesting. So this is a 5. Okay. So I'm gonna actually slow it down even a little bit because I don't know how fast this is gonna cut. Whoops, it'll help if I go the right direction. And let's do the Sharpie. Make everything easier to see. I'm covering this in Sharpie on light colored stones. It's really hard to see some of the meats, even with because the reflection, it just all kind of gets washed out. And so you can take something like a Sharpie and color over it, and that makes it so, let's see if I have it here in the second view. Let's get this working here. I'll adjust this really quick. Kind of dark. Yeah. Alright, well, it's not that easy to see right now just because of where I have the mast at. But, oh, it's dark because I put Sharpie on it, that's why. Okay, yeah. But you can see there. Very dark, much darker than that light blue that we saw earlier. Okay. So again, make sure I don't do the wrong index here. We're starting on 5. And I'll just touch this quickly. Yeah, I can cut these in. Especially this low lap speed. I have the lap here going pretty slow, so it's not a super aggressive, even though it's a higher or a coarser grit. It's not super aggressive. Okay, and yeah, that one's done. So let's see if we can. Whoa! Let's see if we can go back here and see. Yeah, there you can kind of see it. So that lighter section there, it's still pretty dark because most of it's covered in Sharpie, but that's where that facet just cut in, and it's just touching the girdle down here. That's what you want. Alright. So these are going to cut extremely fast. So that was 5, 19. I mean, it might just be a couple touches to the lap and we're done. Yep, see, like that one's done. 29. I love when these cut in super quick. Yep, it's literally like 2 taps on the lap. 43. Is that right? Yeah, 43. That might have overcut. Nope, actually it's fine. That one did overcut a little bit. That's okay. 43, 53. It's done. 67. A little bit more. Okay, 67's done. Just 2 more. 77. And that one's, I mean, it's done. Just barely needed it. There we go. 70. Okay, 77 and 91. Cool. So again, I'll try to show this here on the overhead. I'm gonna try putting it back one more stop. So that makes it a little easier to see. Sorry, I'm getting used to this camera setup here. So now you can see how that Sharpie really helps. It shows off cutting in that second tier. 6, 7. I'm a millennial, by the way. So yeah, so you can see this is actually like a 4 symmetry, but they're mirrored, so they're mirrored around an axis. And just for fun reference, because I'm using this later, I don't know how easy that is to see in there. There you can see the matches up with the design there. That's how that second tier is supposed to look. So, boom, we're done with the water phase. So you can turn off the water, speed this up a little bit to dry off the lap. Move that out of the way. Move this out of the way for now. And turn this off. So now, there we go. This is sort of like what I call a fine cutting lap. It's a 500 grit, but it is sintered, which means the diamond is like embedded in like a metal / resin material. So it actually cuts a little bit more like 1000 grit. Let's just set this over here for now. Now I need to find. Oh, found it. That was easy. Okay. So now I'm gonna move to the fun part. Well, it's all fun, honestly. I love this stuff. This is it's super simple and easy. So we'll put this on here. This is a dual band lap. So the outer ring, the lighter ring, is for pre-polishing. It's like a 3000 grit, and the inner black ring is for the final polish, which is 60,000 grit. This is a Dominatrix lap, is the name of the model, from the company Gear Loose, who makes awesome laps. I think the outer ring's a bat lap, and the inner ring's Diamatrix. Not really sure what Diamatrix is, but it works really well for polishing most things. Okay. So now we can We can just go in reverse since we already have the angle set. I'll start this up again. I just need to get some a paper towel here for going between the grits. I need to wipe off the grit so I don't contaminate the final polish with the pre-polish, because then, well, we just get scratches all over the final polish. So, I'm curious how this will look in the camera. Okay. So let's just start at 5, since that's the first one on P2, or the second tier, that one that we just showed off. Look at my loop. Always gotta have a loop. Also, because I'm using this later on, so you can see that bottom is the pavilion, and you can see how it says P1 and P2. So that stands for Pavilion 1 and Pavilion 2, and G1. That's for girdle. But now that's the order you cut them in usually, P1 then P2. But in polishing, I usually do it in reverse, so I'll start with P2, then go to P1, and I don't usually polish the girdle, especially. So, not planning on doing that. It actually wouldn't be that hard on this stone because it's really small stone, but. Okay, let's adjust this up a little bit. And it's nice to be able to, okay, we can sweep into the middle, and we can cut over here. That seems about right. Okay. All right. Polish the girdle. Sorry, Chester. Well, we'll see. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so we're back. We got our lap going. Since this is a polishing lap and I use oil, I don't have to have this little guard here because we're not using water, so it's not throwing water everywhere. And I'm on 5. You gotta double check the angle is 40. 5. I always want to double check because it's not that much fun if you miscut these. So just move down a little bit until I hear that. And I mean, these are gonna polish. Oops. These are gonna polish super fast. But let's see. I'm really just curious about this camera setup. Like what you'll be able to see. Oh yeah, I need to reposition this potentially. Yeah, so that works out pretty well. So you can see here, this one right here with all that, that's the polish with the oil. That's the facet that I'm working on. It doesn't take much of this pre-polish. It cuts pretty fast, especially on a small stone. Okay. Let's take a look. So let me go back to my regular view there. So we have our pre-polish grit. And, okay, well, didn't really do much. Hopefully that cut through. There we go. Okay. Now we're starting to see some. Starting to be able to see into the stone because that cutting lap, it still leaves kind of a frosting, but the pre-polish is where you can start to see into the stone, which is super fun and exciting. Very nice. hey, Aunt Janet. Yeah, this is in action. Yeah, I think in the future, this camera setup's working decently, but it'd be awesome to have one that's like right here, so I could really show the facets. Maybe if I just do a really big stone, then it'll come through. But I don't think. Let's see here. So is it gonna be visible on here that? Yeah, you can kind of tell. So obviously that one might just look shinier. So that's the one that I've just polished or pre-polished. I don't know if you can tell from there. You can kind of see it, I think, if you look closely. But I will polish that one. And that's the advantage of this kind of dual band lap, is you go straight, you get it right where you want it with the pre-polish, and then you can polish right afterwards, as long as you get everything off. There we go, let's see how that looks. Okay. Alright, that's looking pretty good. I keep hitting this mic. I don't know if that's causing some weird noise. Okay. Explain the market. Oh, the marks. Yeah, so if I show the stone here again. Yeah, marker. You just finish polishing this first. So I'm working on polishing now. Now you should really be able to see. I still need a little more polish, but yeah, if I go in here, so you can see this was from when I did the cutting of the second tier. You can see the kind of blue star here. That was covered in Sharpie, and since it's a light stone, the Sharpie helps illuminate things. So there, you can see that's the one that's polished, or it needs one more pass, but you can see it's nice and shiny, and at this point you can actually tell it's much more clear than the ones next to it, which are not even pre-polished yet. So alright, let's go back to 5, finish that up. And I'll move my alright, that's looking good. This is a Montana Sapphire. It's like a blue, teal blue Montana Sapphire. So yeah, it looks, when I started the shade, I don't know if you can see, but these are some other ones that I have here. They're a little bit lighter, but they all are this nice round shape. So 19. Cut in 19. And I am using, this is my wife's machine, or my second machine, so it's Jenny's machine. I would be going a little bit faster, but I'm just not as used to this style. The kind that I use is over here, and it uses a handpiece, which you can actually pick up and move around, which is super nice. The big thing I want to not do here, I don't want to jinx myself, but is not pop the stone off. Interesting. That's funny. Nope, just one. Very interesting scratch happening there. I'm not sure where that came from. I can't tell if it's part of like an inclusion or what, but okay. That got rid of it. Final polish. I'll try to zip through these because they really don't take too long. Then I can show the T2 is polished. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably do the rest of these sort of assembly line mode. Especially since it's a symmetrical design, it's a lot easier to do. Oh, hey, Uncle Steve. Okay. Oh. I'll just throw it up here one more time because I'm kind of practicing this. There we go. So you can see, only got 2 polished, but 1 and 2. So I'm going to quickly polish the rest of these that look frosted here that aren't covered in Sharpie, and that should be pretty quick if I'm just going through them here. So 29. So I'll do like 10 strokes. 29. Yeah. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now let's switch back. Okay, 10's not quite enough. Let's do 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so 17 swipes. Let's do that on all of them. 43. 67, or no, 53. 67. 67, right? Yeah. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 77. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17. 17, 77, 91. Okay, so this should be the last one on the pre-polish. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. Do a quick inspection. Okay, yeah, those all look good. So we had done the first two, which were 5 and 19, so I'll go back to 29. Just triple check. Hey Dave, hey Westbrook. Okay. That should be all clean, so now we'll just go through these on the final polish. Let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hey Anna. That's pretty close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sweet, okay. Part of that's an inclusion, so that one's good. So 20 swipes. 29, 43. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just slight more. Okay. 43, 53. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 3, 67. Two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 67, 77, 91. So two more for this tier. Okay. Looks good. And 91. Last one. How do I know how many what? How many swipes or how many what? Okay, we need to go. Swipes. So either, well, basically until it's polished, but on this one, actually I have to go back to pre-polish on this one. Generally, like on these round designs, since you can just kind of like, boom, you can just turn, you know, there's 6 different, or in this case 8 different spots that are the same. I just do it on one until it's perfectly polished and add all those up, and then just do that on all the other ones really fast, and then, you know, check them as I'm going and do any extra if I need to, but it helps speed up the process a little bit. Yeah, this one just needs like a little, 91, right? Just needs one more second on the pre-polish. Again, why this is nice to have both here. I can go back if I need to and just touch it up. Because this final polish, like I said, is 60,000, and so it really doesn't do much. It just polishes it. You can't really cut very much away with it. The pre-polish can actually move the facet a little bit. Okay. Let me just turn this off for a sec. Let's just, sorry here, I'm trying to just clean it off a little bit, maybe. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to overswipe, because then you have to go back and recut all the other ones, or just accept that that stone's not going to look as good as you want. So, okay, so now you can see all these are nice and polished. You can kind of see into the stone now. And those spots with Sharpie, that's the first tier on the pavilion that I'm going to go back and polish next. But next as in at a different time, because I'm going to call the stream for now. Thanks. I appreciate everybody showing up. I think I quadrupled my record for concurrent viewers, so yeah, I'm cutting this one on stream, so I'll just save it for tomorrow or something. There's not a lot left, but it's basically time to eat, so get dinner ready. But see you.